So I had a conversation with someone earlier to bring about all of this. Let me share this. And some of you heard me say this before. This is how you know when Yahuwah has revealed his truth to you, to give you a deeper meaning to his word. Because, you know, many of us, and this used to be me back in the day, I thought I understood the truth. And in a way, I know I'm still, in many ways, I should say, I'm still learning about the truth. Yahuwah is revealing things that I'm just like in awe of, and it just blows me away. And one of those things is at the very beginning of the book. This passage here. Okay, I will go there to Zechariah in a minute there, Aki. Let me just pin that to the top. Zechariah chapter 3. Okay. This is why I say that translations are important. And so the scriptures, which is one of the reasons why I love this book, of its translation, is because where it says came to be, a process of time that had to go forth. A brother was trying to make a point and he thought it was valid. He says, well, the day starts in the evening. He goes, because it says the evening and the morning, the first day. But what he wasn't realizing is that every single time after a completion of whatever was created, it ends with morning. And then he says that's one day. Same thing with the second day. It came to be morning the second day. So I wanted him to figure out, so he could see, where does it say that the day begins in the evening? And he would say, well, right here, it says in the evening. But to see that it came to be evening, you know that there was a process of time before evening. So he's saying, well, darkness was on the earth first before light. Family, you do know that Yahuwah is light. And if Yahuwah is preeminent of all things and he is light, then that means that light always was and always is and always will be, because Yahuwah is light. And since he is light, then that means that light existed first. It's always been in existence. So then the question should be asked, where did the darkness come from in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, where it says the darkness was on the face of the deep. This darkness that was on the face of the deep is the fall of Satan. It's the fall of Satan. And why do I say that? Because if I take you down this road about why all of this has happened, remember, he wasn't always the adversary. He was created in perfection. Hold on one second. Let me write this down so I don't forget. He was created in perfection. Halal, his true name, who people call Lucifer, which is the Latinized name of Lightbringer. Halal had evil in him. He wasn't made that way, just like Adam wasn't made that way. The day that he was created, Adam wasn't evil. It was through disobedience. And so the same thing happened to Halal, aka Lucifer, aka Satan, the devil. So this is why we read here, it says, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. This was a finished product. This was at the very beginning, before this second creation. Yes, you and I are part of the second creation. There was a creation before us that was of the angel kind, the angel order, the messengers, the heavenly hosts. This is why we see a clue right here in the third day. Notice it says this: let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. What are we being told here? The land was under the water. If you notice here at the very beginning on the first day, even before the first day was even mentioned, that there was already waters here. It never tells us that he created the waters. We know he created it, but not at this time. Not during the second creation. The waters flooded the earth. And so the earth was under the water, but he allowed the water to come back up out of the oceans. And so we call that earth now. He calls it earth, Aratz. And it came to be. So he says here, and Elohim called the dry land because, again, the land was wet. It was under the water. The land came up. He called it up out of the water, and he called it earth. And so what is he telling us? He's giving us a clue, a hint. This is why Halal, aka Lucifer, was already in the garden after he created Adam and Yahuwah. And Yah said everything was wonderful. It was perfect. But here's Satan to tempt Adam and Yahuwah. Did you know that the Garden of Eden pre-existed before Adam? Let me show you. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 4. I want you guys to do your own study on this because I'm going to tell you it's going to be something that you've never really noticed this. Notice this. First of all, I'm going to read Jeremiah chapter 4. I got a little tickle in my throat. Verse 22, for my people are foolish. They have not known me. They are stupid children, and they have no understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do righteousness, they have no knowledge. So then it goes into the pre-Adamic flood. Listen to this. And I looked on the Aretz, and I saw it was formless and empty. And the heavens, they had no light. Let's stop right there. Now let's go to Genesis. Let's look at this again. Verse 2. And the earth came to be formless. There's that word. And empty. There's that word. And darkness was on the face of the deep. Remember, it just said there was no light. And then it says, and I looked at the mountains and saw they shook and all the hills swaying. I looked and saw there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens fled. And I looked and saw the garden land, that's your Garden of Eden, and was a wilderness. And all its cities, what cities? These are the ancient cities, the cities that we can't seem to figure out who built these things. These ancient civilizations were broken down at the presence of Yahuwah by his burning displeasure. For thus said Yahuwah, all the earth shall be a ruin, but I shall not make a complete end. On account of this, let the earth mourn and the heavens above be dark. Because I have spoken, because I have proposed and shall not relent, nor do I turn back from it. So, what do we see here? He destroyed the earth with a flood. And this is why he told Noah that he shall never destroy the earth again by a flood. This time it's going to be by fire, aka Lucifer. 28 verse 11, and the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, Son of Adam, take up a lamentation for the sovereign of Zor. This is talking about Satan. And you shall say to him, Thus said the Master Yahuwah, you were sealed up a pattern. And I'm going to read this out of the New King James also, so you see a more clear modern language of speaking. But here it says, you were sealing up a pattern, complete in wisdom and perfect in loveliness. You were in Eden, the garden of Elohim. This isn't talking about when Yah brought the Garden of Eden back to the earth and placed Adam in there. This was before Adam. And it says, and every precious stone was your covering, the ruby, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the shoham, the jasper, sapphire, turquoise, emerald, and gold. The workmanship of your settings and mountings were prepared for you on the day you were created, not born, created. Do you not know that all the angels, all the heavenly hosts were created? None of them were born. You were the anointed cherub. There's your angel that covered. He was the covering angel. And I placed you. You were on the set apart mountain of Elohim. That is the kingdom of Yah. You walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. That's the other angels who were made just like him with all these stones. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were, again, created, until unrighteousness, that is sin, transgression, was found in you. But the greatness of your trading, other translations say by your merchants, or by the trading of your merchants or merchandise, you became filled with violence within. This is where his sin came from. And you sinned. So I thrusted you from the mountain of Elohim, from the kingdom of Elohim. He threw him out. And I destroyed you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the fiery stones. He removed them from the 2/3 of the other righteous angels. Your heart was lifted up because of your loveliness, because of his beauty. That's why all you beautiful men and women out there, that's why he uses your pride of your looks. You need to be careful. You know you're beautiful. You know you're handsome. Don't use it to your own demise, because that's what most people do. You corrupted your wisdom. Notice that. You corrupted your wisdom. Now his wisdom is not clean wisdom anymore. It's corrupted wisdom for the sake of your splendor, because of your beauty. This is what happened. His beauty caused him to fall. I threw you to the earth. I laid you before the kings to look at you. And it goes on and on about what he did, and it shows what's going to be his demise when he's going to be thrown into the fire. And so I bring this up so that you can see from Genesis chapter 1, we've been given clues that there was a pre-Adamic creation. This is why when you read the book of Jubilees, you're going to see the same thing. And I'm going to go there next before I read what my brother wanted me to read out of Zechariah chapter 3. But you see again, this is why the earth came to be formless, which means that the earth had form, but it came to be formless. The earth wasn't formless when Yah created it in the beginning. He created the heavens and the earth. He created it. He spoke it into existence, and it was created with form. It was created with life. That's why it says it was empty. It was void of life. It came to be void of life. And then darkness was on the face of the deep. But if Yah is light, then how did this darkness appear? It appeared because of Satan. Yah had to create a separation, like he's done with us. He created a separation, a tent, a mantle, if you will, where his light will not permeate through that tent, through that covering, and that created darkness. It's the absence of his eternal light. And that's where he kicked a third of the angels out. He had to remove them from his presence. And so it was in that place that he flooded the earth, where they were dwelling in the Garden of Eden, the first Garden of Eden. And he left them there who knows how long. It could have been 2 years. It could have been 3 years. It could have been 1,000 years. It could have been 1,000,000 years. We don't know. We're not told. But one day, after a Sabbath, after a Shabbat, notice what I'm saying, after a Shabbat, Yah said, let there be light, and light came to be. And this was the first day of the week. That means that if there was something here before, there was a Shabbat before that. You may not believe me. Let me show you this. Let's take you to the book of Yobalim. I'm going to read out of the Apocryphas. We're going to go to Jubilees. And what does it say here? Jubilees, chapter 2. Look at this. Again, some of you have heard this before, but I need to share this because I know there's a lot of new people that have not heard this before. Starting at verse 17, and he gave us a great sign, the Shabbat day. that we should work 6 days, but keep the Sabbath on the seventh day from all work. And all the messengers of the presence and all the messengers of the purification, these two great classes, he has hidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth. Did you just see what I just read there? Did you hear what I just read there? Notice this again. Let's read that again. And he, meaning Yahuwah, gave us a great sign, the Shabbat day. Did he not say that the sign of the Shabbat would be between him and his people? That the Shabbat is a sign to his people? He did, didn't he? And it goes on and says that we, meaning these angels, should work 6 days, but keep the Sabbath on the seventh day from all work. Did you not know that angels also work even to this very day? And it says, and all the messengers of the presence and all the messengers of the purification, these two great classes, he has hidden us to keep the Shabbat with him in heaven and on earth. Not only on earth, but also in the Shama. And he said unto us, to the angels, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these will keep the Sabbath day, and I will purify them unto myself as my people, and I will baruch them as I have purified the seventh day, or set apart the seventh day, the Shabbat day, and do set apart it unto myself. Even so shall I baruch them, meaning these people that he is going to set apart unto himself, and they will be my people, and I shall be their mighty one. And I have chosen the seed of Yaakov, notice that, Jacob, from among all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and I have separated him unto myself forever and forever. Notice what he says here. Let me bring this down. And I will teach them. Teach who? Yaakov and his children, the Shabbat day, that they may keep the Shabbat thereon from all works. And thus he, meaning Yahuwah, created therein a sign in accordance with which they should keep the Shabbat with us. Who's the us? The angels on the seventh day, to eat and to drink, and to baruch him who has created all things, as he has baruched and purified it unto himself, a peculiar people above all peoples. That means above all the other nations, and that they should keep the Sabbath together with us. Hallelujah. Again, who is us? It's the angels. So, going back to Genesis chapter 1, you see there that there was a pre-Adamic creation. They were keeping Sabbath before Sabbath was even revealed to Moses. They were keeping Sabbath in the heavens. This is part of his law. This is his Torah. This is why we know that his laws, his words will never pass away, because they've been already doing them in the Shama, in the heaven, before we were even created, before Adam was even created from the dust of the earth. This is why, family, Christianity and its teachings, they don't teach us. When we used to be in Christianity, and they're not teaching our family, they're not teaching our friends and our co-workers and all those others that are still in that great delusion to keep the Shabbat. And how can they? Because they're not being taught to do so. They said that the law has been done away with. And if the fourth commandment is to remember the Sabbath, as we're being told here, that he was going to have a specific, peculiar people who are going to keep the Shabbat. And we're told in the Torah that the Shabbat will be a sign between him and his people. There's nothing new under the sun, and nothing new over the sun, in this case, in the Shamayim. How beautiful it is. How beautiful it is. There's more to this.